Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gooners Gone Wild podcast. It has finished Arsenal 3. Manchester only complains about VAR when it doesn't benefit them. United 1, sorry. So yeah, let's get right into it. I'm here with Ari. It's Ari and VK on the post-match reaction today. And Ari, what are your thoughts after that showing, man?
Hell of a game. I mean, I just wish we were. I wish we lived in the UK so that we could go to every match because I'm sure the stadium was rocking after that Decker's goal.
Yeah. I mean the sound. I mean, if you watch the replay back on NBC Sports, the sound in the stadium peaks Peter Drury's mic. It sounds. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Really?
The atmosphere is wild. It's like. I'm sure there had to have been some sort of earthquake on the Richter scale going on when that goal went in. But again, it ended 3-1. Big Declan, I wish Doc was on the pod. Big Declan got his first goal like he predicted. Doc was right. Doc was right. But no, huge to see that he gets that. I almost said debut goal, but first goal for the Arsenal in front of the home fans is such a clutch moment too. And he's here, he's arrived, he's finally made a stamp on the Emirates. What do you think about that massive goal that went in?
Absolutely, I think it really solidifies why we paid such a large chunk of change for him, and obviously, it's
so good, you're speechless.
Yeah, I'm just speechless. Like it's so much money that we shelled out for him, and it's just that goal alone. I feel like is almost worth it in and of itself. So it's really nice to see him, stepping up and taking on that role of like leadership and doing what he is paid for.
Yeah, stepping up when it mattered. I mean, I got the boys Xhaka on the back of this jersey, but it looks like Declan Rice is definitely going to be the next jersey that I need to get because, wow, that goal and not even just the goal. Let's take away the goal for a minute. He was very massive throughout that whole game, very pivotal in that midfield. Very few mistakes. Definitely my man of the match. Who do you think the man of the match was?
Absolutely.
You're saying Declan as well?
I agree with that 100%. I think he was so dominant in the midfield. He kept Bruno quiet the entire game. He was winning ball after ball after ball the way he does. With his long, lanky legs, he gets to everything. It's just, he's just the perfect. He's the perfect midfielder when we're in transition that way, where we need to win the ball back, and then he helps us possess and he helps us, have possession for longer bouts of time because he just wins it back every time. So it's really exactly what we needed, and I think he fits into that party role perfectly. So I'm not worried when party, he ages out, that I'm sure that will,
fit right in. He's young. I think he's 25 as well. Very young. Looks like he's a natural in that position. You brought up probably one of the only negatives that we could talk about was that Partey injury. It was confirmed. There was some, swellings going around that it was just mind games going on, but he will be injured. I think they're saying up to 3. I don't think it was 3 months. I think it was like 3 weeks. I think it's just a minor injury. I think he's just going to sit out the international break. But we honestly didn't really miss him. And honestly, I feel like we performed well, if not better, without him. So that's a very good sign. As back in the day, if we didn't have him in the side, we were atrocious.
I agree.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Another thing to talk on is I think it's really we went back to our roots with our formation. Like
yes.
He picked out the right formation, the right players in each position. We just went back to tried and true. None of that experimental stuff that he was doing. And like one of the commentators said, like, with this kind of club, like at this level, you're looking to get that extra 2 or 3%, and you're looking for ways to do that creatively in other ways. So I understand why Arteta might have been doing some experimental things, but we look so good just playing, what worked for us last year, and it showed in the scoreline on Sunday.
So let's walk it through the goals. So first we have that Rashford, Kai Havertz giving the ball away in midfield. Not going to say anything about that. Falls to Rashford. Great finish by him. What were your initial thoughts when that ball went in? Because that was Rashford's first goal of the season. So I don't know if you knew that. So that was kind of a, oh, shit, here we go, you know?
I mean, I think it was really unlucky. It was completely against the run of play. We were dominating up until that point entirely, pretty much. Even for the rest of the half, we dominated. But up until that point, it was against the run of play, and Ramsdale got a hand to it. I don't really think he's at fault. Both Ben White and Saliba, for some reason, didn't defend his right foot. They both went. So I don't know. They were both covering the same space. So it was a little bit frustrating defensively. But we responded almost immediately, and you love to see that.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing that I'm just a little bit concerned about, and you brought that up as well, is that Saliba and White kind of tracked the same linear space that Rashford was trying to run into. Typically, when your right back has that cover, the center back should stay in the middle and kind of cut off the lane. And I don't know, maybe it was just a miscommunication and maybe just a lapse of experience and just calmness from Saliba. But again, he's young. I think he's 22, 23. So we're gonna get those. Like Arsene Wenger once said, like he'd much rather lose points to gain young players' confidence back up, and thankfully for him, leading by example, of course, Captain Martin Odegaard making it 1-1 90 seconds after that goal went in. That was the perfect reaction. That is what a captain should be doing. So what are your thoughts on that?
And the build up to that was perfect. Like Martinelli. The one thing that I do want to point out in that build up to our first goal was it was Gabriel who made the penetrating pass into Martinelli's feet that he flicked on to Zinchenko, and then it got us forward. But like instead of going negative and playing backwards, Gabriel was the one to break that line and get us forward. So I was really impressed. I think he played really, really well, and he showed Arteta why he should be in the starting lineup every week. But sure. That was one thing that I really wanted to point out, that even though he hasn't been getting much game time in the last 3 games, he's making penetrating passes, and I think the finish, we've seen that at least 100 times now.
1,000%
from Odegaard. Like it's his clinical left foot inside the box with the late runs.
Listen. Oh my goodness,
perfection.
It makes me so happy to be an Arsenal fan with Odegaard in the team, because when Ozil left, I was devastated. And like now that we have someone that has a higher ceiling than Ozil, I'm like, oh my goodness, we're back. We're back, baby. We're back. So then it stayed 1-1 for a while, and of course, it cannot be a Manchester United Arsenal game without some controversy. So let's talk about the Kai Havertz penalty first. Before we get into the details, penalty, yes or no in your eyes?
I don't think so. After seeing the replay, I definitely don't think so. I don't think there was enough contact. I think he was looking for it, and it's not for me.
Yeah,
what about you?
I do agree now. I think in the moment, because I'm very passionate, I was freaking the fuck out that it was getting overturned. But no, watching it back and seeing it in that slow-mo, I definitely think it was not a penalty. I think it was quite soft. The only thing that I just want to call out is the fact that Rashford did the same thing last week and then got a penalty awarded. So that's why when I'm seeing all these Man United fans crying about VAR, it's like it literally helps you 9 times out of 10. Sorry that the one time that it didn't help you, it actually wasn't corrupt, and that it was actually correct and used correctly for once,
And that's the frustration with a lot of fans in the league.
For sure.
There's so many inconsistencies, and it's difficult to get down. And it comes down to each ref. Each ref is a little bit, they have different leniencies, and so it varies from ref to ref. So I understand why there's a discrepancy in the calls that are being made, and but it is what it is.
Yeah, and speaking of discrepancies, let's talk about the missed VAR check on the potential red card for Lindelof on Eddie. Straight red all day? Yes? No? How are you thinking?
I don't recall that one.
So that was the high foot and then the scissor challenge right after.
Oh yeah.
I personally believe that should have been a red. If we're seeing a red, if we're seeing reds for Virgil van Dijk, for something that is a lot less serious than that, I think that should have been a straight red as well.
The McAllister tackle.
The McAllister tackle, absolutely. That was a lot more, I guess, tame than that challenge. And the fact that VAR didn't even take a look at it, I think that could have been a talking point for Arsenal fans if we would have dropped points or if we would have lost. But again, it's just showing that VAR inconsistencies. But let's talk about a call that it got right, and that was the offsides call against Garnacho. Now, again, you brought up the legendary ball that Gabriel put in, showing that he belongs back in the team. How about the innovation from Gabriel to make sure that call was offsides by a minuscule amount? Like, that's incredible.
Such high football IQ. Like, it's so smart. Like, in the heat of the moment, like, you see a player breaking, and like, just to have the clarity in your mind, and like, your legs are tired, and you're tracking back. Just to have that clarity and that intelligence is just
it's incredible. It's world class stuff.
Really,
and
it honestly is.
For someone who again is very young, doing that type of stuff, that just proves that his ceiling is so high, and that if he chooses to go away from Arsenal, that maybe Saudi Arabia would not be that move for him. Like a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or a PSG. PSG is not bigger than Arsenal. I'm going to take that back. No. But like a Bayern, maybe, stuff like that. Like he is definitely going to be world class. Now, hopefully he stays in the red and white, becomes an all-time legend. And I think a lot of these players are heading towards those paths.
I think so as well.
Yeah, but then
it's exciting times to be our fan.
It is super exciting, sure. Super exciting. But now let's talk about the cross that led to the Declan goal. Bukayo Saka on the corner. I think something that does need to be talked about is maybe taking Martinelli off set pieces. I think a lot of the dangerous corners came from Bukayo and from Martin on those off chances that he did take the corner that game. But again, I'm going to try to stay away from the negatives today because it's a very jubilant day. Bukayo Saka, great ball in, finds Declan unmarked, back post, scuffed the shot. He tapped
that with his face.
Yeah,
with his face. Like, it was like top of his chest, like
boom, right here. Chested it down beautifully.
It's crazy control.
It's crazy control, but the shot, I think it was scuffed. I think the deflection kind of helped him a little bit.
But do you know why he got the shot off?
Because of the potential penalty on Gabriel.
But that's three big game-changing moments Gabriel is in.
Oh, true. Good point. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
I do agree. I did see a tweet earlier today that if Declan would have missed that a penalty probably would have been looked at for the foul on Gabriel. Man United fans are going the other way, saying that Gabriel was fouling back.
Yeah.
I think it was spot on. I don't think there was a foul on either side.
You see it every game. Defenders are just tussling with each other. They're pulling each other. They're grabbing each other. Like it's part of the game, as much as like it may be illegal in some circumstances, or like. But, it's part of the game. It's physical. The players are going to grab each other. You get
for sure. And I think we're trying to move away from that like Neymar era of like flopping. I would hope, So I think a little bit more leniency, not non-leniency on that type of action is important. And then after the celebrations, after the scenes, we got a consolation goal to celebrate even more. Gabby Jesus coming back from injury, second game back, and bagging an awesome goal. If you could take a look behind me here, Gooners fans, you can see that Diego Dalot decided to take a nap at the end of the pitch. He was tired. His game was run, and Gabriel Jesus slotted it back. So I wish Diego Dalot some sweet dreams. Hope you dream of winning a trophy that's never going to come your way. And here we are. So Gabriel Jesus, clinical finish. But let's talk about Fabio Vieira, your boy again. Coming through with that's the second time he's made that pass. Aston Villa last year, and now Man United this year. So take it away. What do you feel about that build-up?
Honestly, like he's really turning into quite a game changer. Coming on off the bench, like he's really elevating. I think this is the second time in a row that he's come on, and just really transformed the game and had an impact. And you love to see the players hungry, and I think Arteta really has that mindset. He's really teaching them that mindset, and drilling it into their heads that even if you're coming off the bench, you need to be coming off and having impact. And he's giving them that drive and that hunger to do better. And I think it's 1,000 times better than what we saw from him last year. Anytime he came on, so he's impacting the games. He's getting on the ball. He's creating dangerous opportunities. So I'm really excited to see his growth continue, and hopefully he gets a lot more game time when we start having 2 games a week.
Yeah.
2 weeks and 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was great intuition. I believe even Reese Nelson even started the move with that little flick to I believe
to Fabio.
Was it right to Fabio? Okay.
Yeah.
And then Fabio with that delicious through ball. That's so sumptuous, Özil-esque. Literally, it literally. Yeah. I keep bringing up Mesut Özil, but Özil-esque. That is my boy. But Martin Odegaard, he's coming for you, Mesut. He's coming for you. But no, overall, great day. I still think my hairline receded 2 inches because of it, but it was still a great. Any day we beat Manchester United is a great day. I said it in the pre-match. We have every chance to win this game, and we did. And we came out and we did. The one thing, let's just bring it back real quick to Kai Havertz. I think a time on the bench is well served for him. I'm not trying to hate. I'm not trying to throw any discourse out there, but I just think he's not confident right now. We saw that. We saw that whiff completely took. He was fine for like the first 15 minutes, and then that whiff, you saw his sails deflate. You saw him when he gave the ball away. He jogged back into position instead of chasing down after recovering from his mistake, and they conceded again. I just think it's time for him to take a step back. Maybe put him in against, Sevilla or Lens in the Champions League, something like that. Give him an easier outing, and maybe build some confidence there. I don't know. I'm not giving up quite yet. Little pissed I lost $5 that I didn't score a hat trick, but it is what it is. Any thoughts on Kai and his kind of contribution or lack thereof?
Yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating. Obviously, you want to see our players come and succeed, and it always hurts to see a player that we paid so much money for, not jump straight into the squad and prove themselves. But I think, like we've said like a dozen times, he has to adjust from going from Chelsea ball to very tactical possession-based football, and it's a big transition. And then on top of that, like you said, his confidence. But I think what Arteta sees in him, it will come to fruition.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But all right, any other final comments on that game?
It's not much to say.
Yeah,
just a lot of happiness in my heart. I just wish we wouldn't leave it to the 97th minute, because my heart can't take it anymore. But
of course,
aside from that,
does this give you hope that we can pull out those 90th? Well, yeah, obviously we're winning the league, but will this give you hope that we see last season we did it against Aston Villa, we did it against the Reece Nelson's final. I forget. I think it was Newcastle, or could it be something like that? But
it was Bournemouth. Yeah.
Bournemouth. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Do you think that we're going to see more of those moments this season and actually take it all the way? I mean, obviously we're going to say yes, but do you think we're going to see those moments still continue to happen?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of resilience in the club, like within the, not only just the players but the fan base as well. You see, the fans are, as soon as we conceded, they're behind them. They're chanting, they're screaming their names. The stadium is erupting. Like they're just behind the boys, and you could feel that. And obviously, from our response, right away, you could tell that we're just a very resilient team. It's not like the old Arsenal where we would concede one and then everyone's heads would go down, and then we'd concede another one, and then we just lose ourselves in the game. But I think we'll see a lot more of those moments this year for sure.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Gooners Gone Wilds podcast. Our post-match reactions from VK to Ten Hag. Stop fucking crying, you pussy. And we shall see you guys in the next podcast. So, like every sign off, Ari, of course, we gotta say. Come on, you Gooners, let's go.
Come on, you Gunners, baby.
Let's go.